All right, guys, welcome back to the table. On the table, you see a couple handguns, and you see that the camera's a little bit closer than normal. I might actually just bring that out a little bit more. But what I'm doing today is I'm going to show you some of my sights that I prefer to use. The sights that I'm going to show you are the ones that I actually run for the most part on most of my guns. And as many of you know, if you've watched my channel, I've been a huge fan of Ameriglo night sights for quite a while. Now, of course, there are plenty of options out there, guys. There's Trigicon, there's TrueGlow, there's, gosh, I got to think of all of them. There's XS, there is, of course, Night Vision, which is the new kid on the block, so to speak. And overall, you know, you have so many different choices that you can go through, and there's no right or wrong. I mean, it's really based upon preference, what you can afford, and those types of things. So it's sort of, you just got to keep all that in mind and kind of in perspective when you're deciding what you want to get. Now, for me, I prefer, honestly, for all my guns, Ameriglos. And the reason being is because you're getting a mixture of quality sights with the addition of being affordable. And that's always important because, again, if you have multiple handguns and you want to equip them with night sights, it's probably best that you get something that's affordable but also quality. And I think that's important. Sometimes people, I guess, mix up the idea of affordability with cheap. And that's not necessarily the case. In a lot of cases, especially with such a crowded market trying to get customers, most of the time you're finding really good quality and also affordability at the same time. And I think that's where Ameriglo kind of falls into this. Now, keep in mind, Ameriglo was bought out by Trigicon. So, now I guess they're sort of like a subsidiary of Trigicon. So, right then and there, Trigicon has a great track record. They're not going to, sell products that are cheap or, not quality. And I think that's good. You got bar stock steel sights with, of course, Swiss tritium that's being used for the source of the brightness. Now, of course, you're going to have people who will also say, well, do you really need night sights? Why not fiber optics, those types of things as well? And I would tell you, it's going to be up to you what you decide. For me, I prefer to have night sights on all my handguns. I think one of the things that actually attracts me to Ameriglo so much was because of the fact that they always had that high-vis front. And not always, but for the most part, they were one of the first manufacturers to actually have that high-vis front, of course, Trigicon being another one. And now you're seeing more and more of those turn up. You're seeing XS with their DXT2s. You're seeing the Night Vision with all different colors. TrueGlow, which made a sort of attempt to make that orange little ring around their TFX Pros. But for the most part, Ameriglo always had that option. And to me, that was always the reason why I decided to get those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the sights that I have on my handguns. And then at the end, you can always leave a comment of which one you like the best, which one you don't like. Do you even like Ameriglo? And if you do, why? And I think it's always interesting to see what your comments are because it does open up the dialogue for people to read the comments and then make a decision on their own if they choose to go and buy one. So the first gun I'm going to show you here is the XDS Mod 2. Now, this gun actually has the option of upgrading for the night sights, or you can actually get it with the, the standard Springfield Armory fiber optic in the front with your blacked out rear. Now, the sights that you see here, these are kind of an interesting sight because you have your blacked out rear. And I'll see if I can get this to zoom in the camera. Hopefully it'll work. There you go. So you have that blacked out rear. Again, it's all serrated, so you don't get that reflection of light or any of that other stuff. And see if I can get that even closer. So there is no tritium in the back. And again, you have the front, which is that Luma yellow. Very bright. Once the light hits it, it also glows in the dark, which is nice. And of course, you got that U-notch in the back. So it's actually a very, very good sight picture. Again, it's a little crooked there, but I think you guys get the drift of what I'm trying to show you. And honestly, guys, I really think that they did such a nice job on these because even when you look at that front dot, and hopefully that'll actually come up. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. And I'm sure people say, oh my God, he just muzzled his hand. The gun's empty, guys. But if you look at the front dot right there, and you may not be able to make it into the camera or it may not show up. But one of the things that a lot of people complained about was they were always concerned that the dot or that yellow luminescence would fade away. And some people have reported that in previous videos that I made that that's the case. I personally have never experienced that. As a matter of fact, you can see actually that there's a little bit of a sheen on top of the tritium. So I'm assuming right now that it's actually been encapsulated. I think some people had some questions about that initially. Again, I don't know. I've tried to confirm that on their website, but I can't seem to find anything in regards to, really that stuff. So I can't confirm that that's the case. I'm going to say that I think it's the case. And again, if you know, let me know. Definitely give me an idea because I don't want to mislead anybody, and I definitely want you guys to be able to, kind of chime in and let me know if I'm saying something wrong. It's always okay to do that, guys. Now, the sights you see here, these are, I believe they're called protector sights on their website. And they make them for the XDs and also SIGs. So these sights are actually compatible with each, depending on the elevation, like if it's an 8 or a 6 or something like that. And if you go to their website, right on the website, you know, something like this with that front tritium, with a blacked out rear and that U-notch is under $100. So, I mean, that's really good. So you're getting, again, Swiss made tritium. You're also getting the bar stock steel. You're also getting quality sights with a very nice finish on them. And to be honest with you guys, for $80, I really don't think you can go wrong with something like this. And I know there's a lot of people that like the fact that you have a bright front and a blacked out rear. A lot of people prefer that, you know, so that when they do bring it up to eye level, they're focusing right in on that green dot, or if you choose the red dot. So that's one aspect. And that, again, that's probably one of the cheapest ones to go with. For those of you out there, I've used Hackathorns on my old M&P, and those sights were great. Same concept. The only difference was the front was actually red or orangey, and the back was a little bit different. It wasn't, I don't think it was so much of a U-notch, but I can't remember. It's been a while. Now, the next gun I'm going to show you is the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS, and this gun's kind of, it's definitely become one of my favorites. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I absolutely love this gun. One of the things that I wanted to get were some night sights for it. So I did have some night sights for this one here, which I should have brought them out, but I don't have them with me. I'll show you. Maybe I can show that to you. I don't know if I can find them. But on this one, what you're going to see here is basically the suppressor height night sights. Again, you have a blacked out rear. And of course, you have that orangey red front. I don't even know if that's a term, orangey red. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But again, keep in mind, it is very bright. It picks up very well. You can see that there's a little bit of a, hopefully that'll focus. I don't know. It's hard to focus on this camera today for some reason. But there is a little bit of a reflection there. So you can see that that tritium is protected by a cover, which is nice. Now, again, you know, how is this paint going to last? Guys, honestly, I've had these some of these guns and some of these sights for years, and I have had no problem with them. Again, some people have said that, but I have never seen it, you know, and I think it could be. Sure, anything's possible, guys. But at the same time, I've never seen anything with that. But again, very quality sights. They went on extremely easy. The finish on them is kind of a, it's almost like a, I'd say almost identical to the actual 19 MOS, the Gen 5. So it's got a little bit of a sheen, but on the back of it, it's got a little bit more of a matte type of finish. So you really shouldn't see that, reflection of light or anything like that reflecting on it. But overall, it works pretty well. And just to kind of give you a comparison between the two, on the left, you see the standard height, and on the right, you see the suppressor height. So you can see there's a huge difference in height. So if you're kind of curious, that's what you're going to see. And it does make a big improvement for this gun as opposed to something like this. So these are the suppressor height night sights. Again, you can always buy these on Amazon or on eBay, but just so you're aware, Ameriglo does have a disclaimer on their website that if you go through another retailer on eBay or Amazon, then you have to go through them if there are any problems with the site. However, they do have an official site, which was kind of interesting, and it's, God, I'm trying to remember what it was. I got to try to find it really quick as I'm doing this with you. But if you try to go and you buy these on eBay or something like that, they actually have an eBay store, and I think it's something like Ameriglo official sites, eBay whatever / whatever. But you guys are smart enough to figure that out, so you can do that on your own time. But you definitely have that option to do so if you choose. Now, the next one I'm going to show you has probably my all-time favorite sights from Ameriglo, and these are the iDot Pros. As a matter of fact, you can see that my 48 and my 19X have them. I love these sights. They're just my favorite, and I'll kind of put them side by side so you can see them. But as you can see, you have your little dot in the back there with somewhat of a, I don't want to say it's a U-notch. It's a squared out notch. There you go. And you can see it's a fairly easy way to identify. You have the tritium vial in the rear, so it's just one dot. And then in the front, and I went with the Luma yellow on both of them, but on the front, you can see, guys, that they stand out a considerable amount. I mean, it's easy to pick these up in daylight. It's easy to pick them up in low light conditions. And keep in mind, they also glow in the dark. And I love the iDot Pros. It's like kind of like that, I forget what they call them, but the straight 8 type of sights. And it's fairly easy to pick up, fairly easy to actually shoot with. I love these sights. They're probably my all-time favorite that they've made. It's just super easy to acquire the target. They're very accurate for just having the 2 dots, and I love them. I just think they work so well. I think they just have the right amount of space between the front and the rear posts. So, you just can make out the target so well. And I do really like the construction of them, have no problem with them. They go on fairly easy, no issues at all. So the iDot Pros, probably my favorites. Last but not least, I have another option here, which is the most expensive out of all the sights that you've seen actually, is this one right here. And these are actually the Ameriglo Spartan operator sights. And I'll zoom in a little bit. But these are actually pretty sweet as well. They're actually a little bit lower in profile. Now, this is my FN 509, just so you guys know. You can actually use SIG night sights for these, and these are both number 8s. So if you're looking for these sights for your 509, great option, Ameriglo Spartan operator sights, number 8s, guys. They're just really, really nice. You can see it's a blacked out. The 2 dots in the back are blacked out, so you don't see them. You don't really pick them up, and you can see that orangey red in the front also has a little bit of a sheen on it, so that means there's a little bit of a cover on that vial, which is nice, but much lower profile than what came with the FN 509. And I mean, they're just such a nice sight picture on this right now. It makes the gun really, really easy to acquire any target you're looking for. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see this. But you can see how easy that is. And again, it's a lot lower in profile than, let's say, the iDot Pro. And let's see if you can see that there, side by side. So right there, you can see that this one sits much closer to the slide than this one. This one's a little bit higher up on the 2 posts in the rear, and even on that front post, it's a little bit higher in the front here. This one's a little bit flatter, but very, very easy sight pictures. And just to give you a comparison of the colors of the two. And again, it's going to be up to you to decide which one you like better, but you can see you got your Luma yellow on the left, and of course your little orangey reddish color on the right. I don't know which one I prefer, to be honest with you guys. I actually like them both. I think I've grown to really appreciate the yellows. At first, I was a big orange fan, and I still am. I do really like them. I think they show up super well. But the yellows are definitely good as well. I mean, they're both solid, very bright. So at the end of the day, when you guys decide to make a decision, you really have to choose what you like better. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you a little bit of what it looks like in the dark, and it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect in regards to the illumination of the sight. I'm not going to do pitch black because, again, if you're going to shoot them in pitch black, you really should identify your target. So I'll do it in low light conditions, and I'll leave you with that. And at the end of the video, guys, if you want to leave a comment, I'd appreciate it. Let me know what you think about Ameriglo, and if you choose to buy them, and if you have them, and why you wouldn't, because that's always interesting too. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thumbs up as always if you'd like. If not, that's okay too. And just please click that bell so you know when I'm uploading a video to YouTube. Hope you have a great night. Stay safe. And as always, everyone, freedom is never free. All right. So in this footage you see here, just to give you kind of a background of what you're seeing, these are all the guns that I showed you on the table in the actual main video. However, this is only with the use of some ambient lighting from the background. The lighting that's actually shining on there is coming from my actual monitor screen for my computer. So there's not a very bright amount of light here. Just keep in mind that I've played around a little bit with the camera on my phone so you guys can see a very clear picture. But as you can see, they're glowing very bright. Even on the rear sights, you can see that the iDot Pros come in very well. The Spartan sights are amazingly bright in the back and in the rear, actually, so that's always a good thing. And the protector sights on the right, you can see also glow pretty darn well. I tried to angle the camera a little bit more so you guys can, get a very good close picture of what you're seeing there. But again, as you can see, that tritium is glowing just as bright as any other on the market, and it looks really sharp. I mean, again, this is ambient lighting. This is not anything super bright, and this is, to me, the ideal condition for night sights.